This is documentation of a problem that I'm having with a group of iPads that need to be factory reset using iTunes on a Windows laptop. I ran into a problem where the internet filter software malfunctioned and basically locked the device off the internet, and the only way that I've been able to deal with this is to wipe the machine and then reapply the mobile device management onto it, and then it will function again. But in order to get to this stage, I have to perform a factory reset on the iPad. So here we have a Windows 10 laptop that is running the most current version of iTunes. I just ran the Apple software update and it says that it is up to date. And here we have an iPad which needs to be reset. It shows the multi-user, shared user login. So what we need to do is hold the power button on the iPad until it says to turn off. Okay, slide to turn off. And now we're going to wait a few moments for the iPad to fully shut off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the iPad into the reset mode. And to do this, you hold down the power button and plug in the connector while it's plugged into the laptop. And when I do this, rather than showing the normal Apple logo, it shows a picture of a cord. I'm holding my phone, so I don't really have the ability to press the button and insert it very easily here. And I will attempt it here, but I'm probably not going to have much success. So here we go. Hold down the power button. Nope, I really can't show you this. I have to hold down the power button, plug it in. There we go. Holding it down. Okay. Apple logo briefly appears. Okay, and there we go. So now it's in the hardware reset mode, and if we look at the top here, Apple has instructions on how to do this. If you go to the apple.com/iPad/restore. Now if we look at the iTunes on the Windows laptop, it says there's a problem with the iPad that requires it to be updated or restored. And so we select restore. Click there. Okay. And now it says, are you sure you want to restore the iPad to its factory settings? All your media and other data will be erased, and the newest version of the iPad software will be installed. And so we click restore and update. Okay. All right, so it looks like there's another update available. We'll see what happens here. It says blah, blah, blah. Agree. Okay, so iPad recovery mode. Now, it doesn't show me what's going on here. This is kind of a irritation with the iTunes. It doesn't really give me any progress indicator of what's going on. I think if I open the task manager and then we go to the performance monitor, we can see that it is downloading an update in the background at 60 megabit per second. So it is downloading the iOS software using the Wi-Fi, but there's no indication in the iTunes software that it's doing this. It gives no progress or information of what's happening, even though it's downloading the iOS update. And the iPad continues to show the restore icon. So all we can do is wait, and I'm just going to wait, and so we're just going to have to sit here. I watched this previously, so I know that it gets to a point where it stops and then it downloads some additional chunks. So there will be some occasional drops of the download speed, and then it'll grab some more data. And meanwhile, iTunes continues to show no information that anything at all is happening. Kind of a stupid design on Apple's part, but it doesn't have any indication of what's happening. There is a done down there that doesn't really do anything. I think if this takes too long, the iPad may just restart itself, but this is downloading fairly rapidly, so perhaps we can download all of the iOS update in time here. Still looking at the restore. So I've done this multiple times in the past with this device. I'm not sure what it's downloading here. Perhaps there was an update to the iOS. They just recently released, I believe it's 16. Also, when I've done this in the past, occasionally it will fail the very first time for some reason and maybe succeed the second time, although recently it's just been failing over and over. Still running the download. Still on the recovery screen. It's been about 10 minutes downloading. Oh, okay, so it's still downloading, but the iPad just went dark and the Apple logo has appeared. And it went back to the normal home screen. So the iPad gave up waiting for the download to finish. Okay, so still downloading. Okay, so now we've got a pop-up message on the screen that says welcome to your new iPad, but that's not what I'm expecting to see here. So I'm going to unplug the iPad, and because that failed, and we're going to go over and look at the monitor here. It's still downloading. And then I'm going to just go and look at the processes to see what's going on here. Well, it stopped downloading whatever it was doing. Well, we're going to try that again. Okay, so we're going to hold down the power button on the iPad. Slide to turn off. Okay. We're going to wait a bit for it to turn off completely. And now I'm going to do the same process of holding down the power button while plugging it in. I'm sorry, I just can't hold the phone and do this at the same time. So hold down the power, home, hold down home, plug in the cord. Apple logo appears. It says the reset or the restore. We got the same message on here. We click restore and click restore and update. Oh, mouse moved. Okay, all right, so now it says extracting software. So see, we were actually downloading the iOS update and it took just a little bit too long and the iPad gave up waiting. But now we're extracting what we just downloaded. And I don't see any activity on the Wi-Fi monitor. So it's extracting the update and preparing to install it. And let's see what happens here. Okay, preparing iPad for restore. The iPad just turned off. We heard a device disconnect on the iTunes or on the Apple device. Okay, so now we've got the Apple logo, and if all goes well, it should say restoring or something like that. No, it went back to the screen. That's not what we should see. And now if we look here, it says the iPad could not be restored. An unknown error occurred 4016. So I can't restore this back to factory settings. There's something wrong with the restore process, and this started mid-October and still no fix from Apple. So I'm preparing to send in a pile of these to Apple to have Apple do the restore, or just replace these devices with brand new ones, because I cannot do the restore anymore. It worked with the previous iOS version before 16, and so I do not have a way to get past this. I've talked to Apple support and they really have nothing useful to tell me. So these devices just can't be reset. Oh, and then also we get this device not recognized for this iPad. So I don't know, something weird is going on with iTunes, and so far no solution from Apple here with the most recent download and iTunes version. Thanks for suffering with me.